Hey there,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
So I'm so happy I remembered the timing thing because it's been it's been confusing me because I do meetings with someone in London, and I was like, oh wait. So I'm so happy to have you here for this interview. I'd like for you to start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and um, yeah, like where are you from originally?
Okay. Well, I come from Spain, originally from Valencia, and the last 3 years I have been living in Germany because of my studies. I studied international business between Valencia and Bremen, and then I moved to Hamburg to work in a company as an international sales manager. And I was responsible of the American market, so I made quite a few business trips to Chicago, Connecticut, and some other states. And well, I've always loved travel, and every time I have short time slot where I can go to whatever, just 1 hour from here by plane, by car, by train. I I try to use it to the most. And well, and right now, I'm full-time traveling because I'm gonna start a master in August in international and intercultural communication in Washington. So until then, I decided, okay, I have some money. I have. It's been a long time. I haven't been in Spain more than 2 weeks. So I said, okay, I will go to Spain and then travel from there. And so far, I've been 1 month in Malta. I also went a couple of weeks to Brazil for the carnival. And I've been moving to some other cities in Spain, like Madrid, Barcelona, and a few more for the next month.
Oh wow, nice. So did you start like really traveling once you started college? Once you went to school?
Uh, I start I started traveling more when I moved to Bremen, because from Valencia there are not that many flights, and we are in the coastline. So to visit other countries, you have to go around the whole country, and
Mm,
the only countries that we have close are Portugal and France.
right.
But when I moved to Germany in Bremen, I was like 4 hours from Amsterdam. There were flights to everywhere, to all the Scandinavian countries, to the Balkans. The good point was that the classes, the lessons in Germany weren't compulsory. So you could just study by your own all the subjects, maybe go and do some presentations. So we had a lot of free time, or at least we had a very flexible time to say, yeah, I've seen a flight for tomorrow, 3 days, and we didn't have any important presentation, we can go. So that
Nice.
was when my love for travel started.
Okay. And do you normally travel by yourself or with a group of people?
Yeah, I I usually mm, go with friends, or I'm at the beginning with some friends, or maybe with classmates or something. But after living in Bremen, when I found something cheap, or maybe some training courses from the European Union that are for young people, I decided to go alone by myself. And you meet a lot of people on the way, in the hostels, in the pub crawls, and free tours, and all these kind of places. So I started to travel by my own. And actually, the month that I stayed in Malta, I was alone, and I was discovering the whole country, and I met a lot of people. And I think it's really good to travel with friends and family, but also by your own.
Exactly. Yeah. I think you learn a lot more like
Yeah,
about yourself.
definitely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you have a travel blog now.
Yes.
Okay. And what made you like really start that?
Well, I've been writing about Bremen, Hamburg, and the cities I've been in since, well, 2 years ago, more or less. But I never had time to actually put them in place, create a travel blog or something like that. And I left my job in December this year, and then I moved to Malta in January. So there in Malta, where I had a lot of free time, and I was traveling a lot, I decided to say, okay, let's put everything together. Let's create a travel blog. Let's have my own domain, the logo, the pictures, and organize everything. So I have travel blog since January. And I thought now that I have a few months free, I can work in it and maybe make it grow a bit more. And of course, not leave not having it as a full-time job, because I know it's too hard to keep every day with the social media, with Instagram all the time. Like, no, someone unfollowed me. What
Yeah.
can I do? And it's too hard for me. I have to admit that social media make me crazy. But at least to have it as a hobby and maybe going to, I don't know, somewhere to Ibiza and say, hey, I have a travel blog. Why didn't you invite me to your bar? And then I will write about you in the blog, and then maybe get some gifts, but, or yeah, not make travel my work so far, but at least to make it cheaper.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And also, for me, it was very important to write about Bremen and Hamburg, because as I lived there at the beginning, it was super difficult to find all the places. Like, okay, I'm new in the city. I don't know where to eat. I don't know where to go out. I don't know if my flat is in a good location. I don't know if the transport is going to be, the public transport is reliable, or if it's better that I rent a car or something like this. So as I had all these problems, I decided to put them also in the blog and share it in the exchange students groups that I have in Facebook from people from Bremen, well, people moving to Bremen or to Hamburg, and share with them what they have to do before they arrive and when they arrive.
Okay. Nice. So do you now speak German?
Yes, yeah, I moved to Germany because I learned German for more than more than 10 years in
Oh,
Spain, and I really wanted to experience like the language in its own culture and learn, like to improve it to the most I could.
right. Yeah. Nice. Okay. And so you're back in Spain now.
Yes.
And what is your next trip?
My next trip is next week to Ibiza. I'm going for 3 days. It's a short trip, but I saw the flights and they were 30 euros, and I said, okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It was super cheap. And then, after that, I have another one to Belgium, to Mechelen, exactly. It's like a really small
Yeah.
village, but I'm having a meeting there with some people I work for. Well, I'm also volunteering in an association of intercultural education. So we're having this meeting in Belgium because we are all over the world. And after that I have a few more, and I have to go to Berlin because I have the ticket for the Katy Perry concert.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so I didn't have all my flights booked, but for sure I will have more trips after that.
That's awesome. So what would you say is was your favorite travel experience so far?
My favorite travel experience, I think it's been traveling to Rio de Janeiro in Carnival, because it was the first time that I traveled to South America, and I was super impressed before the flight landed. I was looking at all those green landscapes in mountains I never saw before in a plane. And then I thought, wow, Rio de Janeiro is a huge city, so probably I will see a lot of houses with a plane, like in a circle like a city. But it was so big that during 20 minutes we were landing, I didn't see the end of the city. And I was super impressed with that, because always, I don't know, I always start to look the cities from the window, and you see some shapes, some around a lake or around a river or something, but this one was super, super huge. I couldn't see the beginning nor the end. It was crazy. And when I arrived there, everything was like really familiar because I'm from Spain and we have like some Latin roots, but also very different for me because I've never traveled to South America before. So it was really funny, and in Carnival, the best time of the year to visit Rio. The streets were full of people. Everybody was super nice, helping each other. Um, I had an image of Rio de Janeiro as a very dangerous city that you couldn't walk in the streets. You had to take an Uber for everything, and you had to be careful with the pickpockets and everything. But I really think that it was super, super safe during Carnival. Well, safer than normally because there were a lot of police and it was everything controlled. And that was a really good experience because I don't think I could have gone that far if it wouldn't be Carnival. Like they had some when they celebrate Carnival, they have some make music and then go around the city. It's super dangerous if you go alone or with friends during all the time of the year. But during Carnival, everybody is there, and it was really fulfilling to be able to see everything in Rio and feeling safe at the same time. Like it was not my home, but I was feeling home.
Was it easy for you to communicate in Rio?
Uh, yeah, it was funny because in Rio they speak Portuguese,
Right.
and I learned Portuguese for 1 year, which is not that much, but it's similar to Spanish. So it was funny because I was trying to speak Portuguese with Spanish words, but with Portuguese accent, and it was a bit weird because it was like a mix of languages, and some people was talking at me, and I couldn't understand anything, and they were like, "Oh no, I don't speak any English," and I was like, Spanish, that I was speaking Spanish. It was funny. Like at the end, we could understand everything. But yeah, it was like speaking Spanish, but with mix of words and weird accents.
Right. So how many countries would you say you visited so far?
It was the 30th country, so it was like the best trip for the country number 30.
Wow, 30. What would you say is your goal for the blog? Like, are you looking to like motivate people to travel more?
The goal of the travel blog, I really like to solve these conflicts that happen between cultures. I can start helping people with advice and maybe recommendations, and then go farther after I finish my master, and then I will be able to offer professional advice about not only the superficial part of traveling, but also the deepest thoughts of traveling when dealing with other people in completely different cultures. Of course, I will not only work as a trainer for people who goes and travel 1 week a year or something like that, but maybe for expats or some business people that need to make business trips to different countries every week or every month. I think with the travel blog, I could start making a brand so that my job as a freelance is a bit more based than only the theoretical part I learned in my master's or studies.
Well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me and share your experiences. Um, I love your posts, and everyone else loves your posts because you're growing so fast, and that's so great to see.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm also impressed. I'm now a bit stuck at 800, but I will try to go farther.